Hello, rodeo fans. Welcome back to the Short Round Podcast, the official podcast of the Canadian Professional Rodeo Association. This is episode 43. I'm your host, Wacey Anderson, once again joined by my pal, Clay Creasy. And Clay, we are, I guess, a week to the day as we're recording this to the start of CFR 51, round one. And it seems like the season's gone by in a flash, but here we are, end of September. It's hot, it's dry. Farmers are in the fields clipping away, and we're going to be rodeoing in Edmonton this time next week.
It has been so hot and so dry. Like
It's
just
been, we
I
deserve it though. We deserve, I know, I'm
oh
sure it's a conflicting take, but July was
yeah.
ass for weather, and it was nice to have like an Indian summer to kind of take us to the end of the actual summer. I'm here for it.
Oh yeah. We're out here in Provost. We got like a brief stretch where it rained for like 2 weeks in July, and then we haven't seen boo since. So it's the ground's dusty.
Yeah, fair enough. But
But yeah, farmers are still picking away and having a good harvest. And
I'm hopeful that this helps out that some people get their harvest done early and they can get. I know that's a big gripe with this with the CFR changing dates, but it's also like I think the one thing that folks don't understand is that part of the deal is working with OEG and the Oilers and with the PBR in town and everything else going on. This is the dates that worked. So I mean, cut us some slack on the social media, y'all.
absolutely. Again, this deal came down to a 3-year agreement because, for one thing, that's how much was left on the contract with the PBR finals and everything, and those dates were set in stone, and that event had precedent on things. So, yeah, once things kind of get to contract renewals, and you start to be able to look at dates and how those can be mitigated and everything with the Oilers, then you'll go from there. So, but no, again, I'm not going to complain about not freezing my butt off.
Yeah, exactly. And I
As
mean,
far as the
once McDavid leaves Edmonton, it's going to change the game anyways. They won't care as much.
I
Subtle
don't even
jab.
want to scream from a rooftop to say that's not happening because it's getting a little
It's getting a
tense
little
in oil
sketchy, isn't
town
it?
these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lean one way or the other because it's yeah, it's
That's
it's it's uncertain times, that's for
yeah,
certain.
exactly. That'll be an interesting situation to watch unfold for sure. All right, Clay. Well, let's get into it. I mean, enough beating around the bush. Like I said, this pro rodeo, the 2024 part of the Canadian pro rodeo season is come and gone. We have our 12 positions. They're set. They're ready to rumble. And yeah, we're gonna be rodeoing hard in Edmonton. We say this every year, but I'm really excited for the list of competitors we got this year. I think we got a really stout list from top to bottom in all the events, and it's gonna be a great week.
Absolutely. And it is 2025, but
Yeah, Jesus. There you go. That's just where my brain's at. It's been a long month.
oh man, I sometimes forget how old I am all
Yeah.
the time.
So
Just
2025.
once
Yeah,
you
there
get
you go.
once you get to a certain point, it's just yeah, you're carrying the ones and
Oh
thinking
man.
about that. But no, it absolutely is. I mean, every event, I mean, the races that we got to see unfold all the way down, and the both young and veteran competitors that are here. I mean, those people that, maybe again made that step either throughout the season that they maybe hadn't made last year, or we saw maybe somebody finished a CFR on a strong note last year, and now we're seeing that has been maintained into this year, and you're just like, okay, what are they going to do for us this year? How has the growth and the lessons they've learned kind of prepared him for this event here coming up? And I still think, like, for some of these veterans, I think the change of Saturday night's the end of it
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
still like you got 5 goes instead of 6. You got to lay it all on the line because Saturday used to matter,
Hmm.
but it didn't used to be the be all and end all.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
now, like, yeah, there's not another
Well,
perf the next
it's
day.
it's like we saw last year, like the Saturday afternoon performance. Like a lot of the races changed drastically with the outcomes of those performances, and it's like you like maybe in years past when it's been 6 rounds, if you stub your toe in the matinee, it's maybe not the end of the world. But now it's like any fumble you may have across throughout the whole week could cost you dearly when it comes to clinching a Canadian title.
Absolutely. I was sitting in the media room there crunching numbers there Saturday afternoon, and I mean there was some major drama that unfolded that you're like, holy jeez, this is truly a TSN turning point here. And I know think the events that stick out in my mind were the steer wrestling and the calf roping. That
Hmm.
between the Friday night perf and the Saturday afternoon, there were some major players that either fell out or jumped into play, and yeah, it was. I mean, by the end of that calf roping, I mean, it was just a few dollars. I can remember it was Shane Hanshy kind of got the raw end of the deal both ways there. It was like somebody just caught him in the average and just caught him in the last go
Oh,
round to cost it for him, right? And
yeah.
so yeah, like you say before, it's like, okay, Saturday afternoon, I made a mistake. Let's sort it out tonight.
Couple
We'll
more,
get
yeah.
him Sunday. And
Hmm.
whereas now it's like, oh no,
Yeah.
that's yeah. So
Which kind of adds like to the drama and kind of the pressure, and I think it really just brings out the best in everybody. So and I think now that a lot of these, like you say, veterans have had that under their belt now for a year, I think there'll be a different approach going into it, maybe a little bit less lax on that Saturday morning, maybe a few less cold beers Friday night after the performance. I don't know. Like, I know they're professional athletes, but some like to indulge
yeah.
maybe. But anyways, I think we'll see a different kind of atmosphere when it comes to that Saturday afternoon performance and just the CFR as a whole, because it's like you said, there's not as many chances, and if you stub your toe, you can find your way out of a race real fast if you mess that up.
Mhm. You know,
Okay,
and you look at and I guess the one thing I was going to say
yeah,
is
go,
you
yeah.
look at what the NFR has done, and I can't remember what year it was because the NFR used to finish up on a Sunday afternoon as well, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
they over time they shifted to where they started a day earlier so they could finish on that Saturday night. And there's just something about a Saturday night
Mm.
final performance that just has that feeling where then you go celebrate and you've
Yeah, you get a
got
buzz, man. Like you even
oh
felt it
yeah.
last year. It's just like the building's rocking, people are there having a good time. They don't go out of work the next day. I think it's just a better atmosphere overall for the fans for one, and then for the competitors as well. Because it's like, yeah, you can kind of go out when it's busy and bumping, and kind of the whole everybody's riding a high, not just yourselves. So I like it. I think it's good. It'll be sweet to see how things shake down this year. Okay, let's go quick overview on some of the events here. We're gonna do this in a two-part segment, so we're putting on a show. This will come out tomorrow, which will be Thursday for those listening to it tomorrow, and then we'll put out another preview episode coming the Monday before CFR. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go overview kind of the first few events here. We're gonna go off the Canadian standings order, so we'll do saddle bronc, bareback, bull riding, and calf roping, and then we'll give you guys the rest of our previews and predictions next week on Monday. Okay, that's out of the way. Let's dive in, Clay. Okay, first time we got saddle bronc riding. The season leader Zeke Thurston with $58,612.20 won of the season. No surprises there. Pretty amazing that he won that amount of money in 19 events. I guess we can't say rodeos because we include the bronc matches in that. I guess I would say. I guess that's probably included. I had a really good conversation with Zeke in Mandan, taking a little sidebar here, about that the not counting the bronc matches to the rodeo count. So it sounds like they're making some moves to try and have that change maybe next year, which I'm all for because it's like you can't go 3 years without having Dawson Hay or some of these like high end guys missing the CFR on a almost like a what's the word I'm looking for? Uh
Technicality.
yes, technicality. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes down. But yeah, I don't know if you want to comment on that at all, but
Yeah, and you know, it's tough to say because then you're starting to say, okay, well, the bronc riders have all these extra events that they can come to and take money on. And I mean, primarily a big reason that the rodeo count was instituted was when they first allowed PRCA or American contestants,
mhm.
non-Canadian contestants to start coming to the CFR and just to prevent somebody say like the Hayes weight situation that wins Pinoca for
40,000.
40,000,
Mhm.
right? They had to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's kind of that tough thing to say. I can totally understand where those guys that are going to the NFR and everything are looking at things, but at the same time, I mean, you're a professional rodeo association that's got to protect all of your members and not just the top end, and that's always that balancing act of promoting your stars. Absolutely, you want to have them, but part of that is by setting that minimum rodeo count, that means those stars got to go to more of your Canadian pro rodeos.
Yeah.
So it is difficult. And I mean, again, when you get to the end of the year or you get to a certain point in your season and you're like, okay, I gotta I got to enter these couple more that I maybe wasn't going to go to just make sure I get my count. Or you look at it and I mean, last year I know Dawson was kind of more so in the mix, like
Hmm.
fighting for his NFR life. Whereas this year was kind of, I mean, he was front running for pretty much most of the year. So it's tough to say on that regard because I
Yeah.
mean,
But
the rodeo count didn't just come in.
could you make the argument though that maybe for some of these higher end stars that you want that you need at your the CFR, you need at Canadian rodeos, if they're going to maybe somewhere they necessarily wouldn't go just because they get the rodeo count and they get hurt on something that maybe they shouldn't have been getting on, like is that where does that come in? Where does that factor
Oh,
come into play?
yeah, and I mean, but
It can happen
at the same
anywhere, I
time,
guess, at the end of the
that's
day.
rodeo, and I mean, when it boils down to it, and I haven't looked at the list of how many tour rodeos we have anymore, but I mean, when you think about 15 rodeos, we got a tour system up
Yeah.
here of rodeos with 8,000 or more, and there's what 10, 12 rodeos on there.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I
This
mean, you
majority of them
start
you can get
thinking.
right there.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
mean, it is a little bit different than it used to be because I mean, when there was 8 tour rodeos and you had to find 7 more to get in there,
Yeah.
I again, I mean, I'm sure that there's people that think that it is what it is, or you should make that change. But again, it at the same time, it's not a brand new rule that caught anybody off guard.
Nope, that's fair.
So
That's fair. No, I get it. That's cool. Okay. Anyways, enough of that sidebar. Let's get into
yeah,
it. So we got I we're so spoiled with the great amount of saddle bronc riding talent we have in Canada. If you look top to bottom, um, if you're looking at maybe some dark horses heading into it, Clay, who would you be looking for to maybe dethrone Zeke Thurston as the undisputed champ of Canada?
if we want to talk dark horse, it's and I mean, you look at this field and there's not anybody in there that's snuck in. I mean, this was a dog fight to get in there and everything. But if I look at somebody who could slip under the radar maybe more than others, it'd be Quentin Taylor. And
Mm-hmm.
that's hard to say for a guy who just jumped out and won Pendleton, who's again
Won
in that
Austin
dog
this
fight to
year.
try and
Yeah.
make another NFR and just rides so well. And I mean, I'm hoping when he comes out here at the CFR, he's just going to show what he's made of. And I have no doubt that he's going to be in this race, whether
Hmm.
or not he's capable of climbing the ladder to dethrone the champ. That's another deal, but
Hmm.
that'd be my dark horse pick, just because I mean his abilities and what he's been putting together lately. It 5 days. I think he could do a lot of damage.
You make five good rides and you place high in a couple of rounds. It's like that cushion that Zeke has on the top, or like from 5 to 12, could evaporate maybe a little bit more. But the thing is that the kicker to this all is like you need Zeke to stub his toe, and you know that's a one in a million thing. That's like it's just such a, especially coming in with the lead. Like how do you stop the guy?
Well, to be fair, like when you look back at CFR last year, I mean, he had 3 wins,
Hmm.
but then he had 2 rounds where he had a little bit of trouble. And again, that was
That's just the course.
not characteristic of him, and it's just the way it went. Um, and but the thing was, is last year he come in with a
Hmm.
20 or so thousand lead, and he left with an even bigger lead,
Yeah.
right? So again, he didn't let anybody gain any ground on him. But this year, at the same time, I mean, we got Nicholas Patterson is less than 5 grand behind him.
Yeah.
We
It's
got
a
Colby
talent.
Wanchuk's just over 10 behind him. I mean, that's a go run.
Hmm.
So I mean, yeah, and this year, I mean, no fault to Lucas Moxa. He was right there with him last year and just didn't quite have the CFR that went his way. But I mean, yeah, it's not a gimme for Zeke, and Zeke knows that, right? I
No,
mean,
he does. He for sure does that. Yeah.
and I mean, the thing is Zeke doesn't show up scared. He doesn't show up worried. If there is anybody that can tune out everything and still cheer and support everybody around him, it's Zeke,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
that's
It's
and
remarkable.
all of those guys are so good about that too, right? They're
Yeah.
all there for each other, and but yeah, it's just I mean, call me biased, but it's going to be a great
Yeah. The it's like for me too, man. The Saddle Run Cry has become my favorite event. Like it just it's again we're so lucky with the great talent we have on both sides of the border. The bucking horses, like just everything just kind of comes together. And especially at the CFR, we always see some big rides and big moments. And um The one thing I would maybe flag with Nick is like he's still pretty new to this like elite tier of bronc riders. I don't know if maybe coming into the CFR within striking distance, I don't know if the lights get too bright or whatever. I hope I'm wrong, but that's always a factor with these younger guys. And I mean, it's and talking about any like there's people within the striking distance, and a few go arounds can change anything. But yeah, it's gonna be tough to beat Zeke, especially when he usually like steps out and wins the first go around too, which
Oh yeah.
makes it tough on everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
No, and yeah, to be fair, I mean, Nicholas, he's going through kind of that evolution
mhm.
of his growth and development, right?
Mhm.
He has come from being, you would say, a good bronc rider to a great one,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And
100%.
with that, sometimes are those growing pains of not knowing how to really process that greatness and challenge that moment. I mean,
Mm.
I'm not going to say I ever got anywhere near that
What
cusp of
it's
that
not
type
but
of thing. It's not not everybody gets to that
when we
level.
talk and
So
we talk about that lots with a lot of the guests on here, it's like learning that how to win. Like that's what separates you get the good from the great. And I mean that's where you what, like, guy with guys like Zeke and Dawson Hay and Logan Hay and those guys that have been perennial to the NFR the last few years and in the mix for world titles. Like that's what's kind of separated them. And I think you can say Nick's kind of on that cusp, and this will be a huge learning experience for that one way or another, whatever goes down. So it's good. It's gonna be fun to watch. But enough on that, Clay. Like, let's get into some predictions. Who? So I think I kind of know where you're leaning, but who are you picking for your Canadian champ?
you know,
You can let's do it
I'll
this way this year. Let's
yeah,
pick your Canadian champ and an average champion. It can be they both can do the same.
yeah, okay, yeah, no, I'm gonna go off script there a little bit, and I'm gonna
Mhm.
say Colby Wanchuk's gonna win a title
Ooh, I like that
just
pick.
because, yeah, I mean, he just rides so well,
Mhm.
uh, and yeah, I think there's been times. I mean, that trip he got out of Wild Cherry last
Two
year,
years in
where
a
Wild
row, it's
Cherry.
got him.
Oh, I
2 years in
know.
a row, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, and I mean, there's one of the you'll watch they've got him for the slow-mo video at Calgary getting augured from him too. Like that old horse has got his number, and I mean it. I mean
Box.
we're I don't know how many more trips we'll see out of that horse in these days because he just like that was a perfect trip or example of how he works so hard and fires so hard that he kicked the back gate and then
Hmm.
couldn't go the next trip.
Yeah.
But I think Colby's been everywhere. He's done everything. He knows what it takes, and it's gonna click one of these times.
Hmm. There's some
And
emotion added into this year with his like Ricky retiring, and I mean it's kind of
yeah,
separate from everything, but I mean just
yeah,
there'll be a lot of emotion going on, and I feel like and he needs a new dad, all these great things that have
yeah,
happened this year. So I like the
yeah,
pick.
yeah. No, and in terms of the average, might go a little more off script there and say Sawyer Erickson.
Oh.
I really, really admire how far he's come in the last couple of years, how
Hmm.
well he rides and pieces it together. Might have noticed he was making a couple rides on a TV show that my wife and I were watching on Netflix.
Oh, nice.
Uh, yeah, it was yeah, one of the teen dramas that my
Oh,
wife just
oh yeah,
turned on
the one they shoot in
the
Calgary.
Walter
Yeah,
or
the Walter
whatever.
boys. Yeah, yeah, yep.
Yeah, and so I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden they start talking about bronc riding. I was like, wait, okay, I'm interested. You got me. And I was like, oh yeah, that's Sawyer. And, but yeah, no, I just, I mean, again, when won Wildwood this year,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
just yeah, he
Great.
sticks it on.
He's putting together too. You kind of can almost put him in that same category as Nick Patterson, just really taking that next stride and has the tools to be great. So hopefully these moments can help those guys rise to the occasion. So okay, I'm gonna go with the obvious choice, Zeke Thurston, because he's my buddy, and I did not pick him last year, and I ate my words on that. And I also think that they're like Zeke really wants to get that sixth in a row. I think he's really pushing for that. And again, obviously in the hunt for another world title, I think Zeke's the guy, but I don't think he'll win the average. I'm gonna go a little bit down the wire and go Ben Anderson. Um,
Hmm.
Ben's been riding good. He's no stranger. I think that he's due for an aggregate title and to be in the mix for a Canadian title. And a couple years ago, he was the season leader heading into the CFR. So I mean, he's no stranger to the top it either. So it's gonna be fun, man. I'm excited for the Bronc ride. It's gonna be a great 5 days of rodeo in Edmonton. Or 4 days, I guess it is. I don't know how many days it is. It's some
Yeah.
days.
Well, and I mean, if Ben wins the average, we get another one of the greatest interviews you ever
Ah,
find.
yes.
It's
That's
just,
We're so lucky to
yes.
have Ben and Logan as
Oh my
part of the top
goodness.
12. They're the
My
best.
daughter still laughs about that horse picking at Statler.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was good. That was good. All
Yeah.
time, all time.
Hey.
All right, Clay. Moving on. Let's go to the bareback riding. So, kind of like, well, not really surprised, but no surprise really. Clint Lay is your season leader on the year. He kind of had a slow start to the year, but then kind of came on strong and just kicked ass the rest of the way through, capping off the season by winning the SMS Tour finale over there in Armstrong, and looks primed and ready to win another Canadian title. He had one slip through his fingers last year thanks to a strong performance by Cody Lamb, but he's looking good. Nice to see Richie Champion, Sam Peterson make their way up, and we're always happy to have Richie back at the CFR. Yeah. Any other dark horses or storylines you're following as we head into the bareback riding?
I mean, Taylor Brassard's a good
Mm.
American competitor as well that's come along here. And I mean, it was kind of an interesting year because this is actually, as surprising as it is, this is Clint's first season leader title.
Oh, right, because he had one a couple years ago, but then lost it
Yeah.
like in Armstrong, I think it was, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So, and I wouldn't have known that except the one day his wife was dropping their kids off at school that I work at.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, yeah, Clint had a great end of the year and stuff."
Yeah.
And you mentioned that tidbit there. And so, but yeah, he definitely, I mean, this year for him, I mean, he hadn't been rodeoing full time in the
No.
States, but he had still been kind of making that a priority. And so
Hmm.
then you're not going quite as hard and
Yeah.
everything. And this year just yeah, stayed close to home, stayed around old Cadogan there and
Hmm. The
rodeoed,
Scott
made it
Gunther
count.
approach.
Yeah, yeah, didn't win Calgary though.
No.
But at the same time, on the other end of it, Danton Birch was a guy. He actually moved just down the road to concert from us here,
Hmm.
and similar idea. I mean, didn't rodeo in the States as much, and it just kind of it took a little bit for him to get in there.
Hmm.
Oren Larson, last year, and I remember hearing him say himself that he wasn't quite satisfied with how he finished last year or how last year went for him.
Hmm.
From what I've seen of him riding this year, he's riding better. I mean,
He's
he still
healthy.
got a great chance to make the NFR and everything. And I mean, he's won it before, and I mean, yeah,
You never count out the O dog, man.
no.
And one thing I want to put your way with the bareback riding. Do you think this could be the swan song for our pal from Montana, Richmond champion?
Well, it could be. I mean, yeah, it very well could
For
be.
me, if he makes the NFR, I don't think so. But if he doesn't make the NFR, I think this could be his ride out into the sunset moment. I'm sorry if you hear this, Richie,
Yeah.
and you're pissed at me for making that
No.
claim. You can get mad at you can get mad
Yeah.
at me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and it's tough to say, right? I
Mhm.
mean, you never know unless you're in their circle
Unless you
and
know.
hear what they're thinking, right?
Mhm.
I mean, he's still riding so well. I
Yeah,
mean, you hear
that's
him
good.
talking
Yeah.
though about when you go into the dressing room, it's like, I don't even know these kids. I don't
That's
even
the
know
one
these guys.
that's the one thing I know, especially even being in Mandan last weekend. Like that new young group of bareback riders, man, they are
They are
all there,
wolfy.
all there.
Yeah. No, and it is I talked to Clint last year about stuff and just how it has how the sport has evolved and
Mhm.
how tough it has gotten. So yeah, you've got to be pushing to keep up and compete with those guys for sure. I mean, I'm not going to go out and say that he has to retire by
No,
any
God,
stretch,
no, God,
but
no.
I also as sore as I am for the career I had, I'm never going to tell anybody, oh, you should just keep rodeoing. It's no,
Yeah.
but I mean, I like after last year's CFR, the worry was that we were going to lose half of the contestants from last year's
Hmm.
CFR just to different changes, and quite a few of them did back off on their schedules, but still put in the miles and
Hmm.
made another CFR here. So I mean, there's just I would look at it more so in the who might retire, not necessarily or how many of them
Right.
at any given point in terms of instead of which individual it might be.
That's a good point. I like it. All right, Clay. So who do you got for your Canadian champion and or both average champion?
I probably can't bet against Clint, and it's
He's
not
your
just
neighbor, so you
because
get
he's
mad at you.
no, yeah. Well, I'm hoping we're gonna try and round up our Cadogan contingent here to kind of highlight their year and stuff for an event in next month. So,
Nice.
I mean, it'd be great to have that conversation with him wearing a new buckle and everything. So, yeah, can't fault that idea. In terms of the average, I might go back down to, no, you know what? I'm going to go with Cody Lamb again.
Mm.
Um, I just, if only so that I can bring up the point, and I'm trying to remember which videographer it was in the States. I don't know if you saw that when she said, so I was videoing this cowboy and I put together a little highlight reel package of his slow motion videos of Cody
Mm.
Lamb, and my goodness, the oh, you had to cover your kids' eyes on some of these comments from these ladies. Gosh,
I
I
did see that. Yeah, that's funny as heck.
oh, and it reminded me. I don't know if you'd have known any college or NFL football players. There was a quarterback named Sam Hartman that a good college player and got drafted in the NFL, but fairly handsome man.
Hmm.
And it was like the camera panned to him in one game, and suddenly the Twitterverse just went nuts. Right? It's like, oh my gosh, who is that man? I
Yeah.
think I just had a baby come. Like just the yeah, so Cody definitely increased his fan club and hopefully got some more downloads out of it for
Yeah,
his
there you
music.
go. There you go.
But
Yeah.
no, I mean he showed last year's CFR in all seriousness that he knows how to ride.
Yep.
Shown up, had that moment, and he's still young enough that he's got more of those moments left.
Oh yeah, 100% he does. He'll be fun to watch. All right, for me, I'm doubling down. I'm gonna go Sam Peterson, average champion, Canadian champion. Another one of those guys I got to see in Mandan this past weekend, and he's got so much potential and rides really good. I think he can go come. It's not gonna be easy to take it away from Clint because he's got that nice cushion built up, but I think he has a chance to make it happen. So it'll be fun to watch him as we move through his first CFR. My honorable mention is going to go to Ethan Mazarenko. I know he's kind of a ways out of it when it comes to the Canadian champion conversation, which I mean he can show up there and win 2 3 rounds and the average and be right in the mix. But anyways, I feel like he took a lot of great strides towards the end of the year, made some like his spur rides and just the way he kind of like finished off a lot of his rides towards the end of the year, he just looked really strong. So I would expect big things from our buddy Ethan at the
Yeah.
CFR.
Well, and yeah, he had some big moments. I know he got a go around last year on
Yeah,
Disco Party with the
yeah.
CFR, and so one of those guys that yeah got to taste that success, and like you say, had some big moments throughout the season, and yeah, it's shown he's not
He's no slouch.
unable to do that. Yeah, he's no slouch.
Yeah.
He's capable of jumping out there. So yeah, I think that's a great pick.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right. Okay, let's go bull riding, Clay. Um, I mean, you kind of we talked about Hayes Waiton and his $40,000 ride from Pinoca, but he does not end up the season leader because he's only went to one rodeo. But Jake Gardner, he takes home his second, his consecutive season leader title. Did he win? He was season leader last year too, I think.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. I should have.
Someone could fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. But anyway, so Jake Gardner, season leader. As always, Edgar, two-time Canadian champion Edgar Duraz is in the mix, and then also two-time Canadian champion Jared Parsonage and young gun Grady Young rounding out the top five. But we've been talking about this all year, how it's kind of a tight, kind of more of like kind of like really congested when it comes to bull riding. Like, really from 12th all the way to the top. Like those guys, it's a little bit not as steep of as a mountain to climb in some of the other events to get to that Canadian title. Wouldn't be a stretch to see somebody come from behind again and win a Canadian title in the bull riding.
Well, like last year when we had somebody who was the injury replacement with
Hmm.
Jared Parsons, unfortunately being unable to compete there last year, and William Barrows coming from 13th
Yeah,
from the
exactly.
top row.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean with the added impact of ground money and everything, but yeah, no, it has been a tight race the whole
Hmm.
year long for so many of these contestants. I mean, that Tanner Skeen finished the year off to fight his way in there and had a great Armstrong.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, you've got Grady Young. I mean, that rookie year last year probably didn't quite go the way he wanted. I mean, it's one of those where you have more success maybe than you expect. Mind you, I'm sure that he expected it.
Yeah. But
But for
surprising people with how well how good of a season
yeah,
he had, which is totally fair to say.
yeah. But then you maybe you get to that CFR, and I mean, if it gets away from you, it can get away in a hurry
100%.
and
Yeah.
everything. And I expect him to come in here fighting. I mean, you look at Jared Parsonage again, a guy that didn't get to compete last year and wants to make up for that. And Jacob Gardner, I mean, he came in, he will never use that as an excuse. The bit that I know of him, he's not gonna blame
No.
anything, but he wasn't 100% last year's CFR, and
But he had that
he
long
wants,
season of the PRCA trying to make the NFR, and I
yeah,
think that takes a toll on a guy,
oh
especially
for sure.
and especially just missing it like he did too, right? That could take someone out of your cells just
Yeah.
by that, right?
Well, and I think he was fighting some shoulders and
Hmm.
some stuff there that just he didn't come into Edmonton in perfect health and just things didn't go his way and he wants to make up for it to end up that un the our undisputed champion,
Dude,
right?
I was about to say it, so I'm gonna go in just jumping right into the picks here. I'm gonna pick Jake, and I
Yeah,
think that
go
we
ahead.
see, and I think that this is the year I've been talking about this that we see an undisputed Canadian champion. He's currently 1.5 points behind Dakota Butter in the Canadian PBR standings, and I think Jake's hungry. He's healthy. That I don't even know if he's even thought about this, but I hope he hears this. I want I think I'm gonna try and get an interview done with him for the next show before we put it out. But anyways, I think Jake's gonna win in the CFR in Edmonton, then double dip in Edmonton, win the PBR Canadian Championship, and be I think the first ever undisputed Canadian champion bull rider. So that's my pick. Anyways, average as well.
That sounds good. I think looking down the list there, I'm gonna go with Jared for the you know what, I'm gonna go with Jared for the average, and I can't bet against Edgar. I
Oh,
think
he's
yeah,
he's one of those. Like, we talk about that knowing how to win. Like he just knows what
yeah,
he can just get it done, and he's such a nice
and
guy.
just enjoys doing it so
Oh yeah,
much,
he's the best guy.
right? Like, gosh, yeah, such a wonderful
Hard
guy.
to root against him.
So
But
yeah, I
it's a real quality set of bull riders this year. I'm really excited for it. I know last year maybe wasn't the best showing, and some of those guys would be the first to tell you that. But I think we're going to see a big change when it comes to the a level of bull riding and kind of the competition we'll see this year. I think we got a good set to kind of turn the tide there a little bit.
absolutely. I mean, the bull riding, I mean, the bulls that
It's
are
hard.
going down the road these days, there's not a layup.
Hmm.
And so I'm never gonna say, oh, there, but yeah, it gets tough out
Oh
there.
yeah, it's hard.
Like,
It's hard. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. But anyways, Clay, moving on. Let's do some tie down rope, and we got Logan Bird. No surprise, the 2025 season leader with $44,000, just over $44,000 on the year, and then you have Kyle Lucas and Strand Dunham kind of within striking distance heading into the CFR. But how are things looking through your eyes when it comes to the tie down roping?
I think this year, I mean, obviously Logan ended up in a familiar spot in the Canadian standings, but we
Hmm.
saw him really making an impact in the US
Hmm.
and just, I mean, I think he would probably sell himself short in terms of his ability to compete at that level.
Hmm.
And I think to me, it seems like he showed himself that
Hmm.
he's in those fights. Like
Hmm. Hmm.
and it goes back to, I mean, you think about like a Tom Brady that, I mean, if you ever saw his NFL draft,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? he came into that, and obviously he's a physical specimen today.
Hmm.
I am in no position physically to judge any semi-professional athlete or anything, but but just carried that will to win and that just full investment in every detail. And that's
Hmm.
something Logan's got in spades. I mean, he knows every calf in the continent.
Inside it out, yeah. And then
And
and then you
he,
factor in peso, man.
yeah, but I mean, it's not even just peso. Like
No, no, no,
his
of course not.
workmanship
Yeah.
on top of that, as
Yeah.
well as
It's
that,
it's
yeah,
a good
he's
combination of
so
it all,
full.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like but it's just it seems like, as much as he's a veteran, I really I kind of feel like this year was kind of that realization that, hey, yeah, you know what? I am just as good as any of those guys. I don't just make a good roper here.
Mhm.
I'm good everywhere.
That was I really liked this quote in the primer we posted today for the tie down rope and just how he kind of like he went from roping safe and trying to like be in the money to pushing the pace, trying to get faster and it's paid off in spades and it's shown. So he had a great year. He's heading into the CFR in great shape, and he said, and another funny part of that quote is where he said he wants to go 2 for 5 in the season leader. He's currently 1 for 4 with Canadian titles heading into the CFR as the season leader. So it'll be fun to see how it plays out for him. But I know with swinging away over Peso and all the talent and what Logan brings to the table, they're going to be a tough pair to beat. But who are you liking when it comes to Canadian champion, average champion, and tie down rope and clay?
I thought that, I mean, Strand Dunham, he was a rookie again last year that I wasn't super familiar with. Robert and I got to chat with him a little bit the first morning that we did the podcast stuff, and just a really good young roper. And he really impressed me with his ability to rope once
He's
he got
fast.
in there. Oh man, he is lightning fast. Like, yeah, yeah, he makes the other fast people look not fast. Like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
yeah, no, and I mean, I want to see that big grin going around doing some victory laps and everything, and I mean, nothing against Logan, but I think last year getting that taste of the CFR and everything, like I mean, he's come in a much better position than
Hmm.
last year, and I think this year he's going to show us him and that black horse. They are quite a
They do
pair.
some work. They do some
So,
work.
but in terms of the average, I I got to go with Murray Cole on the average.
Oh, nice.
I
You called him getting in. You wanted him to get
oh
it in.
I was pulling for him so hard. Just again, he's a true student of the sport, and just a genuinely nice, just incredible human.
Hmm.
That again, it's almost like the Mario Lemieux at the end of his career
Yeah.
when his kid was like, "No, what? Dad wasn't. No, he
Wasn't
couldn't have
good.
been that good." And
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
"Oh, fine. All right, that's it. I'm
Yeah.
tying these skates
Yeah,
on. Yeah,
yeah.
that's it. I own this team. I can go back out there." But I mean, Murray's kids are going down the road and roping these days, and for him to make it back there, yeah, like he and I mean, you give him 5 calves. I roped at those 4 or 5 calf ropings and saw him when the chips are down. I mean, he knows how to handle that.
Hmm.
So that's I'm gonna go with him for the average.
All right. I like that. It's a good pick. Okay, I'm going. Oh, I'm gonna. Okay, I go. Yeah, okay. I'm going Kyle Lucas, Canadian champion. I feel like Kyle has something to really has something to prove. I don't think he has it. Maybe he feels like he has something to prove. I know his last few CFRs haven't went the way that he's wanted them to go, and just I think he's had a great season. He's roped super solid, and again, nothing, no knock against Logan. It'll be no surprise to anybody if he wins. But my pick is going to be Kyle Lucas. And then when it comes to the average, Bo Cooper, another one of those guys who's made the CFR a few times now, and he hasn't had great performances. He's won a couple of rounds, he's been fast, but he hasn't really put together a full 5 calf performance yet. And I think that this is the year. Bo, and I feel like maybe kind of a statement for Bo being like, "Hey, I'm still here, and I still got what it takes to be one of the best." And I think we'll really see that shine through when it comes to CFR 51 next week.
And I just want to point
Yeah.
out, I
Yep.
think he did jump out and win the average last year because I think
Oh,
last
yeah.
year's
Oh, okay.
show
Perfect.
we had that conversation about
Did
how
we?
he had those hiccups that had cost him in the past. He didn't end up winning the Canadian title last year, but I'm pretty sure that he did win the
Oh, there we
average.
go. Maybe he
So,
did.
I mean, definitely, I looked down that list before I got to Murray and thought about mentioning Bo because yeah, he did stick it out there. And you know, Kyle, when we first did our New Year's predictions, and I had
Yeah.
said he's either going to be a Canadian champ or he's going to make the NFR.
Yep.
We're going to know on one of those things by the end of this week, and we'll talk about
Yeah.
that a little bit later here. But yeah, if he gets one of them checked off.
Well, that'll be
Hopefully, get
awesome.
both, right?
Yeah, I'd
But
love to see him get both. Let's see here. I want to see how this went down. Bo Cooper season. Uh, on 5. I think you're right. Bo Cooper, no. Oh, yeah. I think you're right. He did win the average.
yeah, no, because I can
Yeah.
remember that interview
Yeah.
last year.
Anyways, okay. Sick.
Yeah, yeah,
Good for
but
Bo.
no, and that was absolutely that had been his MO, and I remember him even mention it when he did it, like
Mm-hmm.
when they interviewed him after winning the average, right? It was something that he had recognized and wanted to fix, and good on him for doing that. I mean, he's a hand, and yeah,
I'm
he'll
sorry.
get there.
I'm sorry, Bo, that I forgot that you won the average last year, but I think he can do it again. And
Yeah.
again, like I just tell people, hey, I'm still here. I can still win. I'm the man. Look out.
Oh,
But
yeah.
anyways, Clay, I think that's gonna do it. We've dragged this on long enough for the folks listening to our part 1 of the CFR 51 preview. Let's throw it to this week's interview. I was lucky enough to sit down with the number 1 back number holder for CFR 51, Bradi Whiteside, which is a really fun chat. So we'll leave it there and we'll pick it up right after that. All right, welcome back to the short round this week. I am pleased to be joined by none other than the two-time and reigning women's all-around champion, the number 1 breakaway roper in the country, and also now the number 1 back number at the Canadian Finals Rodeo next week in Edmonton, Bradi Whiteside. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We've been trying to lock this down for a while now, and it's we've finally been able to get you to download Zoom, and here we are, your very first Zoom interview. So I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to it.
first Zoom, so I guess I'm not a businesswoman, but here we are.
Awesome. Well, so let's talk about the season to kick things off. I mean, it was obviously a great season for you. Number 1 in Canada in the breakaway roping, and then like I said, have that number 1 back number. You earned, I think it was, I have the number, yeah, so just over 61,000 on the year. So just talk about the year kind of as a whole and what went right and what it means to you to kind of be riding into Edmonton with that number 1 back number.
Yeah, that number 1 back number was kind of surprised me actually. When I got the text message, I don't really know if I believed it. I was kind of like, is she like right or whatever? And yeah, sure enough, yeah, that was really cool to be able to receive the number 1 back number. I really had a good season. I didn't think that I guess I would get the number 1 back number the year I didn't make it in the barrel racing, but I
Mm-hmm.
guess the breaker roping was really good for me this year, and yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, it's a good year. So yeah, talk a bit about that. You ended up missing the CFR this year in the barrel racing, but like you said, the breakaway roping, so much has changed in that where there's a whole bunch more money available. Like just pulling it up here quick. Like oh, here you go. Yeah, you won $38,000 just over that in the breakaway roping, which it's got to be like a regular season earnings record at this point. I think that's always going to get broken as that gets more popular. But just talk a bit about how much the added money has changed and just how much more lucrative, I guess, the breakaway roping is in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, we have a huge opportunity now. Like, super thankful for all the committees and stock contractors and everybody that has made it possible for breaker ropers to be able to go down the road and win just as much money as all the other events. I think the tour finals for me is what made me be able to win 38,000 with
Mhm.
the 7,500 there. That was huge at the end of the season. But still, I mean, throughout the year, we get to rope for a lot of money, and it's great.
Yeah, even if you look at the top 5 in the Canadian standings, even into the top, well, in the top 12 that are going, but you look at the top 5, like everybody's won over 20 grand heading into the CFR. So I mean, that's a huge jump if you compare even the first year you guys were going in pro rodeo. Like there's
Yeah.
actually some real money. Like I said, it's always been real money, but there's actually an opportunity for you guys to make a living doing this.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's huge. The amount it's grown since the first CFR is crazy. I don't know actually what made it the first CFR, but I know it was significantly less than it is now.
Someone told me the other day, and I think it was like $4,000 or $5,000 or something like that. I have to look
I
back
was
at
gonna
it, but
say 6,000, which seems
yeah,
crazy now to think
yeah.
that, but I guess it would probably be realistic. It was probably 6,000, and now I don't know what bottom hole is, but it's definitely grown a lot.
Yeah, it's been good to see, and it's competitive. Like every year it gets faster and faster. And you talk about the tour finals, like you laid down two sub 2 second runs to win that deal, and I mean that's going to win a lot of rodeos anywhere. So maybe talk a bit about how the competition has changed, how many more people are coming up here, or how many more people are like how much better even the Canadian competition is getting. Like it's just a whole bunch of factors playing into this.
Yes, it is. I think after the first year, girls really realized how far I think Breakaway was going to go.
Hmm.
And there's just so many more people that got back into it or really started working on the roping, and the horsepower is huge, and the girls are so tough. Like it's no matter what, any rodeo you go to, it's going to be tough. Girls are roping good, horses are good, stock's good. It's great.
Do you think we're going to see more Americans kind of trickle up here as it gets more competitive and more money becomes available? I know it's like obviously popping off everywhere, but I think again, and I think it's across the board in Canadian rodeo. I think that it's really being put on kind of notice that we don't mess around up here.
Yeah, I think it's huge. I mean, for us to have it like all performances at the CFR is big, and then
Yeah.
Pinoca, and like it's just like lots of our rodeos are adding equal money to some of them and putting it in Pinoca, and
Hmm.
I think we're going to see a lot of those girls come up here because there is a lot of money to be won up here. But I think that'll maybe take a little bit more time, but
Yeah.
probably for Pinoca next year.
Yeah, we opened it up a little bit. So yeah, speaking on Pinoca, that was huge having it added to Breakaway this year. Obviously, you've been there in the barrel racing a few times. But yeah, what was it like competing in Pinoca for the first time, coming out of that long score in the box?
That was probably like one of the most fun runs I've ever made. Like after the first one, I couldn't wait to make the second run.
Yeah.
That was so cool. Like I love it.
Yeah, it was neat to kind of just I mean it was a matter of time before they brought it in, but I think it just opened up again, like you say, a whole other door for you guys to win more money and have that opportunity to compete on a bigger stage. I think Pinoca's done such a good job of becoming so well known outside of just our region. Like everybody talks, even in the US, they talk about the Pinoca Stampede and how important that is and how big of a rodeo it is. I think it's just such a great showcase for you gals to kind of rope on that big of a stage, right in your own backyard.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait to go again next year. I think this year a lot of the girls like were trying to figure out the score or figure out the
Mm-hmm.
technique with it, and now I think next year it's going to be even better than it was this year.
So, so you kind of touched on your horse, teacher, I guess now a three-time Breakaway Horse of the Year. But just talk a bit about him and how he kind of has led you down this path and how you guys have had so much success together.
Yes, I'm so thankful for teacher. If it wasn't for him, I definitely don't think where I would be where I am. I think he's just like always given me that opportunity to rope fast and always gets me there, and I can always trust him that like I'm gonna have a shot there. And I mean, he scores so good, runs the calf. Like I think if I like hadn't learned to rope fast on him, I was probably not gonna. He gives me every opportunity. I am so thankful for that horse.
Yeah, he's great, and it's I guess what kind of would separate him and make him like such a great breakaway horse. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of elements. There's a lot of different great horses out there. You know, you got like Caitlin Dom's horse that just won Horse of the Year is a great horse, and we're so blessed with all the great horsepower we have in Canada. But what would you say makes him one of the better ones that we have going down the road?
Yeah, well, congratulations to Caitlin because Gummy is amazing.
Hmm.
For teacher, for me, I think for the horses that I've rode in the past, what makes him different for the other horses that I've rode
Hmm.
is how well he scores and how hard he runs the calf. And everything is so smooth. There's no big movements. It's just such a smooth, fast movement to the calf. And he
Hmm.
always is like, when I drop my hand, he's going. So I think
Makes
that what sets him apart for me.
Yeah, it makes it easy on you. Hey.
Yeah, definitely.
I also want to touch on the tour finals. I know you kind of mentioned like how big of a boost that was to the money you made on the season, but it was the first year of the new format, so it's kind of more of a traditional type finals and like a tournament style rodeo. Through your lens, what was that like competing in Armstrong this year compared to years past?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe a lot of people were bummed because how much they love Armstrong, and I think with only the top 20 getting to go,
Yeah,
the people that didn't get to go were kind of like maybe a little bit upset, but that $7,500 to win the tour finals is huge.
yeah,
And even the 2,000 to win each pool, that's a lot of money. And I mean, I think it just gives maybe you a little bit more like ambition throughout the season at them tour rodeos to really like capitalize on the opportunities and get to Armstrong. And I think more people maybe will work towards that this year. Maybe some didn't realize or some did and things just didn't work out as planned. But
right.
that Armstrong was a lot of fun. And Armstrong's always fun with the atmosphere and
Yeah.
it's a great rodeo.
It kind of, I would, yeah, like you say, it kind of puts a little bit more weight on the tour rodeos. I mean, not saying there wasn't before, but now that there's actually kind of some more parameters to qualify and to compete there, I think you're going to see kind of a bigger emphasis maybe heading into next year on the SMS tour, which is a great thing because those are all great rodeos on that tour.
Totally. Yes, for sure they are. And I think like obviously if you were on the bubble and you didn't make the finals, that would have been really hard.
Yeah,
And those were probably lots of people that were bummed out, but I mean, it is what it is and I think everybody has good years and bad years.
yeah, that's the ebbs and flows of rodeo, isn't it?
It
Um,
is.
did you find the atmosphere was a little bit different in Armstrong this year with that new format, or was it kind of the same but different in the sense of like the way it was like you competed at it, but or like kind of how did it feel overall being there?
I think it was pretty much the same, just because I think, well, with Brett being the announcer, he's
Yeah,
amazing and makes the atmosphere really good. I don't really know if I noticed much of a difference, other than I guess maybe the Saturday night with being able to win 7,500.
right.
That's a lot, but I
Yeah.
don't think other than that, I didn't notice much.
Yeah, cool. That's such a great rodeo. I think, yeah, no matter what, you could do whatever you want there and it'll still be a lot of fun.
Yeah, totally. And it's usually like the week getaway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of a neat way to end the season off. Hey, it's like kind of a culmination of a long, busy season. You could go spend a week in like the most one of the most beautiful parts in the country, hanging
Yeah.
up at the lake, competing in one of the coolest rodeos. I mean, there's merit as well, I guess, for the timed event folks. But yeah, it's such a great way to end off a busy season.
It is, and usually everybody goes boating and goes to the lake, and it's a good week.
When it's not usually you get like 7:30 or 8 o'clock perfs too, where you can kind of just mess around all day and do whatever you want. It's kind of it's a beautiful setup there. I'm a bit biased because like Jen, my fiance, is from there, so
Yeah,
it's like become my favorite rodeo. But even if it wasn't for
right.
her, I still would think it's my favorite rodeo because it's just so much
Totally.
fun. Yeah, it's a good
Yeah, it's
spot.
definitely my favorite too.
Yeah, it's such a good one. Okay. So CFR, going back to CFR 50, it was the first year that they had the breakaway roping, in all five performances. Again, you touched on that. We've talked about it on the show with other breakaway ropers and people, throughout the year. But through your eyes and your experience, like how great was it to have that opportunity to rope five calves, in Edmonton, and then I guess compete on the biggest stage in the country?
Yeah, that's huge. That was like really cool. I think for the breaker ropers, um, it was kind of just like a feeling of like, wow, like we're meant to be here. I don't know if that sounds right or not, but like it was just like it was super cool. Like knowing that every day you're gonna rope a calf, like you're equal to everybody else there. And that was, I think, probably the biggest thing is everybody just felt like, wow, this is cool. We're finally here. We're meant to be here.
Yeah, it was neat, and I think it kind of was maybe started that trickle effect that we saw with, I mean, the emphasis that Calgary brought it in that this year. Like you said, more money's being added. I think it just really like I think I think the PRCA is going to be feeling the pressure too of like, hey, we got to find a way to get this into Thomas and Mack for the NFR because it deserves to be there as we all know. So it was kind of cool to see that our small but mighty association kind of leading the way and giving you guys a chance to compete again like as equals on the biggest stage.
Yes, for sure. I think like it's hard, maybe like it's a little hard to see those girls that rodeo just as hard as everybody else down south. and then they don't get to rope in the Thomas and
Yeah.
Mack still. So hopefully one day.
Yeah, I mean it's I got like I've been to the last year I went to the Breakaway like the NFBR or whatever they call it in Vegas and it was cool like the South Point's a great venue and I mean it's cool that they have that opportunity in general but yeah it just doesn't have the same feel as when you're in the Thomas and Mack or again riding into Rogers for the CFR like being a part of the whole show so I think it's only a matter of time it'd be great to see okay so heading into this CFR again like, your number one back number is anything going to change? I mean, like now that you've been there for a year under your belt, you've roped five calves there. Do you have a different approach heading into this year, or are you feeling a bit of pressure being the number one girl heading into the finals, or what's kind of your vibe as we head into Edmonton next week?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not feeling any pressure. I think what'll be different this year for me is my focus will be all on breaker roping, where in the
Right.
past it's been barrel racing, and then I changed my focus to breaker roping as the rodeo's on. But this year I definitely will have all my focus on the breaker roping, so I'm kind of looking forward to that and making the most of it.
Is it? I don't know. I don't know if this makes sense. Where why? I'm sure. Think it's kind of an obvious answer, but is there a bit of a relief almost? Like obviously you're bummed out to be missing in the breakaway roping, but is it almost easier to focus on the one, or have you built a good, nice, like kind of way to mentally be able to prepare for both now at this point? I guess you've had so much success, but is it like almost a sigh of relief to only be going in as with one event, or are you, or would you rather be going? I mean, you'd rather be going in two, obviously, but
Yeah. Well, honestly, no, like just because I think like I had been used to focusing
right,
on both events and especially all throughout the season, I do both events. So I think
yeah,
it's maybe I guess less work since I don't have a barrel horse to take care of,
yeah, fair enough. Left,
and less horses,
you need
but
less barn help with Ben, hey.
yeah, yeah, Ben will have to do less.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so talking about the breakaway or the barrel racing side of things, like, are you like wow, you missed out by $6,000, maybe a little bit less than that. I can't do quick math in my head, but is it like what kind of changed in that front? Was it just kind of catching some tough breaks, or maybe just not as many opportunities, or what kind of was the story there? I mean, I obviously don't want to talk about your failures, but
Yeah.
what kind of went sideways for you there?
Yeah, that's okay. I honestly think I just like I needed to win when I was out at BC at the rodeos there, and it didn't go the way I wanted. But such is rodeo, and
Mhm.
we'll just come back next year, hopefully stronger.
Yeah, and I think speaking to what we did about the breaker opening, like it's gotten so much more competitive, and like same with the barrel racing. Like there was like 100 and some girls going pretty steady all year that could win at any given moment. I think that maybe has changed a little bit in the last couple of years. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, the horsepower is crazy. The amount of girls going. I mean, at the end of the year, maybe we start with like 130 barrel racers or more, and only 12 make the finals. And I think I'm sure every one of them wants to be at the CFR. So,
Yeah.
that's why like when you make it to the CFR, like it's a huge achievement, and you have to be thankful to be there because there's lots of other girls that want to be.
Yeah, 100%. So comparing Edmonton and Red Deer, I know we've done this a lot on the show, and I think we'll kind of put that to bed after the CFR because it's kind of 2 years out. But what was it like, kind of the comparison? Like, obviously, it's a new building, new atmosphere, kind of new everything. But what would you say the main differences were in your eyes?
The atmosphere of Rogers Place was, I think, really cool.
Yeah,
Obviously, Red Deer is great. I think maybe the horse part of Red Deer was a little better, but the atmosphere of Edmonton was so cool. I mean, Rogers Place is a beautiful building, and to be able to have the CFR there is, I think, cool and amazing.
yeah.
But I think, I don't know, I think just the atmosphere of Edmonton just makes it that much better.
Yeah, and I think it's cool because I think a lot of folks don't know, or like we haven't really touched on it a whole lot. It's like that building, and when they were building it, was like designed to have rodeo in it. Like they built that with the intention of having the CFR in there. So I think finally
Yeah.
being able to host it in there is a big moment for everybody across the board.
Yeah, for sure.
So another element I'm not sure a lot of people know about your sister. But what's it been like being able to kind of have your careers grow together and find success and compete at the CFR with and against one another? You guys are all like very close and everything you do, so it's got to be pretty cool to be able to share this journey with your sister a little bit, hey?
Yeah, I'm obviously so thankful for Kylie. I think it just makes it that much easier going up and down the road all summer. I mean, come the weekend, you're gonna get in the truck with your sister. We know each other so well. Like, we don't have to worry about worry about anything with each other. We know each other's drills, we know what we like, and it's great to be able to compete on the same level, as in like we both make the CFR together, rodeo all year. I think it would be a lot harder without her.
Do you guys ever get into any like arguments traveling together? Is it like pretty? Are you guys pretty good with one another? Is there ever any like kind of sisterly rivalries or tips you guys get in?
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of arguments, and it's usually with I don't know, where horses go or something small that we fight about, and then usually within an hour we're fine or not even. Sometimes it's like 5 minutes and we're good, but
Yeah.
we just got in a big fight. So we're good at getting over things fast, but I think you have to be.
It's probably been nice to have her like kind of push you, you know what I mean? Like even at home in practice or whatever you guys may be doing, like having that competitiveness kind of built in right from the beginning. That's got to had a huge effect on both your guys' careers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like even with I guess horse training, like I watch her train horses. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like I'm gonna add that into my training. Or when we're roping, it's like, oh, what do you think? And then we could tell each other what we think, or just like always having somebody to practice with and push you to be better.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. I mean, I think that just help. I mean, and I think everybody has a bit of that. I mean, with traveling partners, whatever, across the board in rodeo. But I think just having again like that built-in kind of partner and someone to compete against day in and day out, just like kind of really separates it from everybody.
I agree. I think sometimes maybe like if you're on your own, you can just get comfortable with where you're at and not try to get better. I mean, like I'm always practicing to get better, not just practicing just to practice, always practice with a purpose.
Mhm.
And I think with another person there to push you, it just makes it that much better.
Well, and even building off that a little bit too, like your partner Ben, like he's a competitor in his own right, and he's obviously helped you a lot with teacher and all that
Yes.
kind of stuff. So, what's it mean to have him kind of part of this journey as well? I mean, it's funny because rodeo in essence is such an individual sport, but it takes a village, a group of people to build it up and to make everything work and make sure everything's like taken care of and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, what's it mean to have him as kind of part of the team and part of your journey?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, always like if I'm like really struggling with my roping, I mean, he's not there a ton when I'm practicing, but I can be like, hey, like I'm struggling with this, and like he has a lot of good tips to give me, and obviously the horses that he lets me ride, I like I said before, I wouldn't be able to do it without him, and I'm thankful that he gives me that opportunity. But yeah, no, I'm super thankful for Ben and everything that he has done for me.
Do you have to pay him out money?
Well, that's a dispute that we have a lot.
It's yet to be decided.
Yeah, well, like I guess not really with teacher, but what Nifty his well, it's not his barrel horse, but he would not like that to be said. But his his 5-year-old that I run at the rodeos a little bit, I do give him out money from him because he doesn't want him to be a barrel horse.
It's a little bit
So I have
rough.
to make it worth it.
Yeah, there you go. That makes sense. That's funny. I love that. I
Yeah.
guess then like moving on from that, like talk about your parents. I mean, they've obviously had a huge impact on your career. Like, your dad's a Canadian champion bareback rider. He's the president of the CPRA board now. And then obviously everything your mom does is amazing. But talk a bit about having them kind of build that environment that you guys have grown up in.
Yeah, I think dad has been huge with like mental game for us. Like
Yeah.
if we're like down in the dumpster or whatever, or maybe sometimes saying things that are negative, and like he's the first person to be like, you can't do that. Like you got to think positive, and like mental preparation, he's huge with that. I mean, obviously our parents also like open the chute for us a lot, and they're always there for us and take care of our horses on the weekends when we're not there. They're doing a ton for us, but I think they are big time on like mental game, and you have to prepare in your mind for what you're
Mhm.
going to do. It's not just about going out and doing it. There's a lot more to it.
Was it cool like being able to like again share their success with them? I mean, obviously they put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into helping you guys grow and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, is it extra a little bit extra meaningful just with how involved your parents are in rodeo, just to be able to share again like the CFRs and all the like Calgary Stampedes and all these different places you get to go and the success you've had over your career?
Yeah, to me it is definitely. I think when I look back when I was little and dad was riding at the Calgary Stampede or the
Mhm.
CFR, like I guess I don't have a very good childhood memory, but I do vividly remember like going to Calgary a lot. I don't
Mhm.
remember the CFR as much, but I do remember it. And I think like going there and watching dad, and then now I think for dad to be able to go there and watch us, is cool for me, and I'm sure it's just as cool for him.
Yeah, no doubt. Do you think they get more nervous? Do you think, especially your dad, do you think he gets more nervous now watching you guys than he ever did getting on bucking horses back in the day?
That I don't actually know. That's probably a question you'd have to
I
ask him
should, yeah, I
because
got it.
he's hard to read in that sense. So I
Yeah.
don't really know.
It's funny because I always when I talk to people, it's like once they have kids, and even like my parents went through it too. It's like because you just lose all control. It's like they could only do so much and kind of point you down the right path. But once you get to that moment, it's like okay, it's all on you. And I usually find it's a little bit more stressful for yourself or for them than it is yourself.
Yeah, it probably is. Dad just is so like level-headed, I'm not really sure.
Has things changed at all a little bit since he's become the president of the CPRA board, or is it kind of the same old same?
Honestly, same old same, except for he's on a computer, which is really weird to see.
Have you guys had to help him out at all, or what's that process been like?
I don't live at home. I
I
live
gotcha.
with Ben, so honestly, I don't really notice it, but yeah.
It's funny. My dad starting a new job, and he's taking like a beginner Excel course right now. It's just funny to see. It's just funny because our parents didn't like kind of didn't really grow up with computers at all. It's just funny to see them dive into all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think it's been frustrating for him to figure out how to be techie, and I still don't think he's techie, but he has to figure it out
He's figuring it
somehow.
out. Yeah, I don't know, and I know he's doing good work, and a lot of folks are happy to have him in the position that he's in, and it'll be great to see what he can do with the CPRA over the next few years as part of the board. But yeah, no, that's all good. Let's talk Calgary Stampede a little bit. I know we don't talk about it a lot on the show because it's not really a CPRA event, but how cool it is to be able to compete at a rodeo of that scale, kind of right in your own backyard. And again, somewhere your dad competed too, like just like, talking about that.
Yeah, honestly, Calgary Stampede is amazing. I think the first year that I made it, the first run I made was crazy. I mean, I never hear a crowd usually
Hmm.
when I'm running, maybe sometimes on the way home, but like going in the arena, I heard the crowd and that was like it was crazy. I think the atmosphere of that rodeo is none other.
Hmm.
And then to be there again this year, I think after having a year on my belt, it just was I was maybe like a little bit more comfortable. Not that I wasn't the year before, but like it was
Right.
just like taking it all in where I had been
Hmm.
there and just kind of I don't know. Calgary Stampede is amazing for sure.
I feel like with stuff like that, those bigger scale things, like the first time around, it's just such a blur because like everything's coming at you so fast, and you're trying to take it all in, but it's hard to do that when everything's again, like I said, coming at you so fast, and it's a new place, and like I'm sure there's a million different things you're trying to remember as you're going into something like that. But it's nice to be able to have that kind of second go around at it where you can kind of really take it all in. Eh?
Yeah, I think when you see things for the second time or do it for the second time, it just you get it like you maybe take in more or finer
Mhm.
details or I don't know, maybe just learn to enjoy the moment a little bit more, which I think I did this year.
Something that like so I've always like wondered is, and I haven't really had this conversation with a barrel racer before. Is like we're like I'm a big fan of having a rodeo kick off the performance with barrel racing. I know it's kind of a divided take in the rodeo world, but I want to hear like from somebody who actually does the thing. Like, is there a part of the rodeo or a time in the rodeo when you like to have barrel racing, or do you like when it kicks off the rodeo, or what's your take on that?
I'm definitely huge on it kicking off the rodeo.
Yeah,
The
nice.
first event is my favorite to me. Sometimes for me, I think it makes the most sense too. Like the ground's prepped.
Hmm.
You don't have to work the ground or whatever partway through the rodeo. Like it's ready. I think it's the best it could be then. And I don't know, huge person for it being first event.
I like it's the energy you get for like you can inject into the crowd with it. I think is so huge. Like it's a good way to set the tone to get things started and kick off a show. Like everywhere I've been where it's first, like you can just tell like how the crowd is buzzing coming off of like a great set of barrel racing.
Yeah, I love it. I do think the crowd loves barrel racing too because I think with it being like a speed event, it
Hmm.
kind of draws people in right off the bat. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, no, it makes sense because like of like all the rodeo events, like for the casual fan or somebody who may not have ever been to a rodeo, it's easy to follow. Like it's a race. Like someone like it's like the
Mhm.
fastest around the three barrels wins essentially. So it's easy for
Yeah.
folks to follow at the end of the day.
Yeah. If you've never been to a rodeo, barrel racing is probably the easiest one to figure out. Whatever the fastest time on the clock is.
Did you see all the drama from Mandan this past weekend down in the US at the Rough Rider Cup?
I did. Yeah, that was kind of crazy, which I feel like that would be really hard to for like a bubble girl to see like
Yeah.
first perf, but like honestly, it was I think completely even throughout the whole perf. If not, the first one was probably the best. I mean, that's the girl that won it out of
Uh-huh.
was the first perf, but I think the girls that were on the bubble and on the in the first perf didn't expect it to not get dry and any better. So,
Right. Yeah,
which
because I
that'd
was
be tough.
yeah, I was down there, so I got to see the evolution of it over the weekend. But it was just wild. I've never seen like a rodeo's ground. I mean, obviously it's a huge scale of a rodeo, like it pays so much, and it's a critical time of year for those bubble girls, like you say. But yeah, it was just interesting this how it kind of like took over the rodeo slash barrel racing world by storm.
It did. I've like never seen so much about one rodeo with ground. I mean, obviously it was completely uncontrollable too,
Mhm.
but I don't know, maybe we're just used to running in more mud up here
Yeah,
in Canada.
that's what I was thinking too. I was like, dang, like half the rodeos I was at this summer were like this. I don't know what the heck you
Yeah,
want, but I mean, and it's one thing too. I guess I think one element that maybe got overlooked, and I've seen more people talking about it now, just how like the committee was putting in a ton of work to try and make it like safe and able to run in, and there's again like that's only so much you can do. Like I think the week before Bismarck had like record rainfall for the time of year and was like flash flooding around. So I mean, like they did the best they could, and they had opportunities. So it kind of boils down to like the barrel racers themselves whether they want to push it or not, I guess. Hey.
exactly. I think that's when they just have to figure out what means most of them. Maybe if they're horse, if they're worried about that, or making the NFR if they're on the bubble. I don't know. I think there's so many factors, and I think it comes down to what they feel is best.
Well, like I mean, I was talking about it with like because Lane Peterson was judging down there too, and I was talking to him. And I'm like, it's such a big rodeo. Like, wouldn't you want to at least like give it a go? Like, if you just, like, I mean, because it gets to the point. I mean, had they have canceled it in the first perf, then fine, like whatever. But if it's going on, it's like rather than like kind of be negative about it or whatever. Like, wouldn't you want to like try and figure out a way to make the best run possible just with like the amount of money that's available to win there?
I guess if I was on the bubble, I probably would.
Yeah.
Being that it paid $12,000 to win the barrel racing,
Mm,
I'd probably say like you might like I mean the mud looked safe the first day.
yeah.
I mean from what I watched, I never seen any horses slip. So
No.
I I think really the first day was probably your best bet.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. And this is like me sitting from a complete armchair quarterback style thing. Like I'm not a barrel racer. I don't have the money invested in the horses, but just interesting because it's like you say it's a critical time of year and there's bubble and it's like I think you got to be able to find a way. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. I'm probably gonna get roasted online for this once I post this, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
There you
Um,
go.
so for yourself, is there any interest in going south at all? Like, are you gonna go try and like? I mean, you obviously have the qualifications to get into the big rodeos, in the U.S. or you will by the end of the year. But is there any interest at all?
Yeah, the thought's been there actually. I think I would love to like be able to go to like the big winter rodeos.
Mhm.
I guess we'll have to see if that actually happens.
Yeah,
But maybe I'll enter and see if I can get in. I think I'm not really actually sure if I would get in or not.
right.
I haven't really looked into that, but I guess I can enter and see if I do.
See what happens. And I guess it's such a different thing because that time of year, hauling a horse and truck and trailer down the highway when it's middle of winter, like going to Denver and all these big rodeos, like that's not easy either.
No, it's not. I think I would maybe have to figure out. I don't think like me spending my winter in Texas is probably gonna be possible, but maybe I could figure something out if I could get into them, then I could maybe keep my horse down there or something,
Hmm.
figure something out. But that's a ways in the future, and I don't usually think that
That's
far
fair. Yeah,
ahead.
we got a big week next week to get through before we make any of those kinds of decisions for sure.
Yeah.
But you guys, because you guys spend like all of your time in Alberta, like you don't go down to Arizona or anything.
Last winter we went to Arizona.
Okay, okay.
Hopefully go to Arizona this winter, which I
Mhm.
guess Texas isn't far.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Hopefully, haven't made any plans about that either yet.
So, but what's it like being down there? I mean, obviously a lot of Canadians spend their winters down there on the roping side of things, but kind of what how does it give you an advantage like one the practice side of things or what's it like kind of wintering in Arizona versus having to spend your winter up here in cold ass Canada?
It was huge for me and my horses, I think. I think we spent like 7 weeks down there. And the amount of roping that I could do and like how far I could get my horses in the roping aspect, and even like barrels as far as like getting to run in outdoor pens on, say, my 5-year-olds that hadn't maybe made the outdoor runs, but they got to make them down there in Arizona and then come up here, and I already had that under their belts and more runs. And just, I don't know, wake up every day and you know you can rope because the sun's gonna be shining, and you just rope as much as you can every day, all day.
Do you take a lot of pride in building your own horses? And like obviously, I think Ben helps you a lot, and Kylie, and because it's a family affair. But does that add like a added sense of pride with that, like kind of knowing that this is a horse that you've built and built that relationship with and have that trust
I guess so. I mean, obviously, I didn't build teacher, but
in?
and and he's great. But I rode my 6-year-old a bit this year, and I think if it wasn't for Arizona, he wouldn't really had been ready to ride at the rodeos, because he was a bit more challenging to make.
Mhm,
um, but I think so. I mean, I think it just means a little bit more being able to make your own horses,
mhm.
but I'm thankful to be able to and have the opportunities to. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's a great thing. I think it's yeah. Did you get to like kind of grow together and build that trust and that relationship? I think there's something to be said for that. Um, so okay, a couple more things before I let you go here. Heading into CFR, do you have any like obviously aside from the obvious of winning a Canadian title and all that kind of stuff, like do you have any goals or kind of like a game plan or a strategy as you head into Edmonton next week? Now, especially now you have you've been there one time, so you kind of know the setup and how it's kind of gonna work. But yeah, what's kind of the approach heading into Edmonton?
I think honestly, just making sure that like my mental preparation's there. I
Mhm.
think sometimes I think really this year I learned how much that is very important to success. Which I guess is maybe taking me longer than it should to figure that out. But I think like just backing in the box and always like really focused on my job and what helps me. I think that's what my game plan is going to be like. A change my game plan is really focused on what I need to think about when I'm back in the corner, and just hopefully get all 5 calves roped.
Do you have like a pre-run ritual or like any superstitions?
I'm not really a very superstitious person, so I would say no. Um, just kind of go at it like I guess I would any other rodeo.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess that's yeah. I guess the superstition stuff. It's like doesn't really do any good for anybody. Okay, so heading into the CFR, aside from yourself and all that fun stuff, is there maybe somebody we should be like looking out for at the CFR this year? Like kind of maybe a dark horse in the breakaway roping?
You know what? I honestly think all the girls are going to come with their A game,
Hmm.
and I think that happens every year. I mean, I'm sure sometimes girls don't have the finals that they want, but I think it's going to be really tough.
Fair enough. That's a nice businesswoman answer. Okay, so barrel racing wise, now since you're not in the top 12, so you're kind of out of the game, do you have maybe a prediction or a bold take who you think is going to be the 2025 Canadian barrel racing champion?
Ooh, you know, that's a hard one. I think it's hard not to want to pick Taylor.
Yeah, she's tough to beat.
Obviously,
Yeah, she's tough
she
to beat.
she is amazing at the CFR as she is all year. Um, Honestly, I am so excited. I like to go and be able to sit there in the stands and watch the barrel racing. I think that's going to be super fun. Uh, I think I don't know, probably Taylor. But obviously, Jaden Wilson is coming in with
Hmm.
a really after a really strong season, and I think she'll go in there and have 5 really nice runs.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting to see. And it always comes down to that consistency, like you say, the breaker roping who can rope 5 cabs the fastest and who can make 5 good runs on barrel racing. So it's gonna be fun to watch, and we're all excited in Edmonton for Edmonton.
Yes, I'm super excited.
Do you have any like spots or anything like you like to go check out that you found last year, or like what was it like staying downtown Edmonton for the CFR?
Yeah, I think I was more scared about all of the people that hang around there that
Right.
like, I don't know. I think that scares me, so that was took some getting used to. I didn't really want to go anywhere by myself.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I'm also a chicken, so that doesn't really help. But I don't know. I think no really specific spots because I'm not very much for like an adventure, I guess. I think we went to the expo center and walked through the booths and then
Mhm.
basically just take care of the horses and riding the scooters around is a lot of
That's
fun.
fun. Yeah.
Like scootering back and forth from the hotel. That's probably one of my favorite parts, actually.
It's just like so ironic to see a bunch of cowboys and cowgirls just scooting their way down downtown
Yeah.
Edmonton. It's always like kind of it makes me laugh.
See how much money I can spend on a scooter.
Yeah, you just gotta buy like a week-long pass or something to make it
Yeah.
happen. Yeah.
Whatever's cheapest.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Well, Brady, I want to say congrats on another great season, and I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today. And yeah, wishing you all the best next week up in Edmonton.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Alrighty, this has been the short round. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Short Round Podcast. Thanks so much to Bradi Whiteside for taking the time to chat with me. We're really excited to watch her at CFR 51 and see what she can get done in the breakaway roping. I know she finished off the year really strong, so it's going to be an exciting race. But we'll talk more about the breakaway roping on the next show. Okay, Clay, let's talk about what's happening south of the border. We got some Canadians in the mix. We've kind of alluded to it a little bit, but we're in the final week of the PRCA season. A few big rodeos left on the slate, including the Governor's Cup in Sioux Falls, which is the Cinch Playoffs Finals. A ton of money there available, but not everybody gets to compete. So let's get into the bareback riding. Currently, we have Oren Larson um, sitting 19th in the Canadian standings. Sorry, I just had a message come through. We have Oren Larson sitting 19th in the PRC World Standings. He's currently 7,000 out of 15th. He's not in the Sioux Falls playoffs, so he's got some ground to make up. So, how are things looking for Oren as we head into the last week of the season here?
Well, and you mentioned it. I mean, to make that ground up, it's not impossible.
No, it
But
ain't. And he's
uh,
currently leading
when
Pasadena, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, yeah, the chips can definitely fall where they may. Not having the Governor's Cup as a something in your back pocket definitely makes it a little tougher.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to count him out. As we mentioned earlier, I really like the way he's been riding. I know I saw the video from Olds, and I mean, he's finishing the year in good shape
Mm-hmm.
and ready to roll through it. So I mean, I'm pulling for him. I know he's wanting to get another chance at the NFR to show 10 rounds he can do it. I mean, he's a guy that seems to be built for it, but just sometimes has had those hiccups where something's kind of soared him up or anything like that. And yeah, so it's a tough one. I'm pulling for him, but we'll have to see how it works out.
Yeah, have to wait and see at the end of the day. But yeah, I think if there's anybody who can do it, Oren can. He's got the ability. He's a wily old vet. He knows how to win. We talked about that quite a bit in the top part of the show. So rooting for Oren. Okay, before we jump into the bronc riding, Clay, I want to talk. I want to run something by you when it comes to Wacey Shala and Stetson Wright, this all around race. It's really exciting. It's kind of the
Mhm.
first time in a long time we've had two rough stock athletes going head to head in the all around that are going to make the NFR in both events. Do you think it's going to be harder for Wacey Shala getting on 10 bareback horses and 10 bulls than Stetson getting on 10 saddle bronc horses and 10 bulls, or where do you sit on that?
Oh, I mean, obviously, bareback ride is a more physically demanding event,
Hmm.
but at the same time, I mean, that fourth and ninth round in the bronc riding can be killer on
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah.
So like, and I mean, it used to be that there was just kind of that eliminator round, but now they've got kind of a mini eliminator round. And honestly, there's just snakes in the grass that just have a bad day and can stomp the heck out of you any of
Yeah.
those perfs. So I mean, yes, I mean, if we just look at it from larger picture, yeah, getting on 10 bulls and 10 bareback horses probably has the potential to be harder on you, but at the same time, we're looking at Stetson's going to be coming back from this injury.
That's true
By
too.
NFR time, he's that should likely be in the rear view and
Hmm.
everything.
It's
But
never
yeah,
easy.
no, it's no getting on 20 head in that stretch of time. That's and the best stock in the world on
Oh
top of
man. Yeah, 10
it. It's
rounds of the best of the best. It's going to be
yeah.
buck wild. Um, so looking at the saddle bronc riding, we've got, oh my gosh, one, two, three. four Canadians kind of in that bubble conversation. Looking at Ben Anderson sitting at 14th right now, Logan Hay at 17th, Colby Wanchuk 18, and Q Taylor 19. Um, 15th currently is Lefty Holman with $137,093.50, and Logan is about, quick math, $8,000 behind there, and then you can do the math. You can look at the PRCA standings from
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, who you liking? Who are you liking sneaking in there? Logan, Ben, Zeke, and Q Taylor are all in the Governor's Cup thanks to the
The
qualifying in
four
the
round.
format and
Yeah.
Puyallup, which is really cool. I think that's going to be huge. But yeah, ton of money available there for those guys, kind of on the bubble. I can't remember if is Lefty in? Is Chase Brooks and Lefty in? I'm trying to find the roster.
Well, and I was trying to remember, did Q get in there? Because he made the 8 round, but he didn't
Oh,
make the
was it
4.
Ben? Ben,
It
Logan,
was
Dawson. That's
Logan,
the other one,
Dawson,
Dawson.
Ben, and
Yeah,
Zeke.
that's
Yeah.
right. Okay.
No. So yeah, obviously
I
Logan's
saw
got
this.
that inside track. Yeah, I know I saw the list for the bareback ride and I
I
didn't
know.
didn't look at the Bronx, but
I'm trying to find it. I saw it today. Anyways, um,
yeah.
you go, you
So
go, so go, you go. Yeah, say what you're gonna say.
uh I just
I'm trying to find that.
yeah, so I mean Logan, I mean, made a great ride in Mandan, getting Steely Dan down there.
He
That's
got
a
hosed there,
great
by the
draw.
way. He got hosed.
Yeah, yeah,
I was
no, for
there. I
sure.
saw it all with my own eyes. He got ripped.
I am such a fan of that horse, and he absolutely made a great ride there. So yeah, of the three that are on the outside, Logan's got the inside track, having the governor's cup in his pocket.
Mhm.
Obviously, that also works in Ben's favor, being there. Um, I thought he had an outstanding mark out in Puyallup, but then the old Wiley delivery there kind of give him the old shimmy shake and just had him stood out in that one stirrup. And I know he wants to finish a 4 round in an even better spot than he did there in Puyallup. So I think yeah he's gonna stay in there and I want to see Logan make his way in there. I'd love to see the other two
Get in
find
there.
a way without the Governor's Cup to get in there, but it's a bit of a climb and yeah, Lefty right now has been on fire.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's I was just
he's
about to say that same for like Logan's been riding great. Like
oh
he
yeah,
won. He's been winning money. He's like that
yeah,
ride he made on Steely Dan was like one of the best rides I've seen Logan make. Like since I've
yeah.
been like keeping track of him. And yeah, I think he's rising to the occasion. And I think yeah, I agree with the sentiment that him and Ben are probably going to sneak in there down to the wire like they did last year.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a great weekend of bronc riding, and yeah, I think we'll get. I mean, that would put us at 4 guys at the NFR. Um, be a pretty good showing for our Canadians
Always
that
is. Yeah.
have been riding outstanding.
Yeah, it seems every year the bronc riding getting tougher and tougher. Okay, moving on. Steer wrestling. Our buddy Scotty G, the semi-retired cowboy who likes winning Calgary all the time. He is currently $6,641 ahead of Dalton Massey for the 15th spot. He's not at the Governor's Cup, but I feel like Scott's in a pretty good position if as long as he just keeps chipping away.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I'm sure he's wanted to have gotten a little bit more done there the last little bit. I mean, made
Mhm.
a little bit out of Mandan and everything like that. But he is, yeah, where he's at right now, he just has to make sure that no mistakes, try and make a little bit, but it's not like he's needing to win
No,
to make it
no.
happen,
Just
right?
gotta
Last
maintain.
year, yeah, last year, I mean, he needed to get a check that last weekend, and he did
Mhm.
there in California. It's actually when I went to go pick up my kids today at school, I saw his son Quade, and I was like, "So, where's your dad heading this weekend?" He's going to be in a few places though, so and yeah, so he's going to give himself a chance to make sure he gets there.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch. And yeah, if there's again back to the whole knowing how to win. If there's one guy who knows how to do that, it's our buddy Scott. So it will be no
Young and well
surprises.
doing.
No surprises if he holds on to that spot and we see him back for another NFR. Okay, next event, team roping. Dawson Dylan Graham got really hot towards the end of the season here, and I think they've pretty much solidified their spot. I'm just going to throw it out there. They got $120,000 won. Dawson's currently sitting 10th. I think Dylan is either ninth or right in there. Is that also at 10th? So I think it's safe to call it. Those guys are going to be heading to their first NFR here in a few weeks. Another Canadian kind of on the bubble though, Colton Schmidt with 114,001. He's currently $6,000 ahead of Aaron Sinigini at 15 there. So it's gonna be kind of puckering up a little bit for old Colton as we head into the last week of the season here.
Yeah, and like 2 weeks ago, it was kind of the other way, right?
Hmm.
Colton looked to be like the guy that had it made, and the Grahams. I mean, there was that stretch there. They were putting themselves into the top of things and making short rounds and everything, but just a couple of them chances kind of didn't go their way, and it
Hmm.
was kind of it could have gone either way, right? Where suddenly that's the point where things start to get away on you, or you turn it over and you just keep buckling down, and they really have been firing on all cylinders here, and good on them to finish this year. I
Hmm.
mean, I think again it was in August you kind of have that spot where it's like, we got a lot of work to do to make the CFR, we got work to do to keep being in the race for the NFR, and so you're half in and half out and stuff. So having the calendar turn to September, and knowing that you can just focus on that NFR, they've really finished this year, and I mean they're a pair that from the time they were winning trucks as kids, you just kind of had a sense that they were on their way to making an NFR, and
Oh yeah.
and so
Well,
yeah,
and, like
I mean,
they ride great horses, and like Dawson is like one of the best headers in the world, and Dylan, that guy rarely misses. Like they're all there, and they
oh,
deserve every bit of the flowers coming their way once they get to make that call and enter up to first NFR.
absolutely. Dawson, he can throw some rope out there in a hurry.
Oh yeah.
And Dylan has just, I really, I mean, watching him rope here these last few months, anything Dawson's spinning, it seems like he is knocking them
Mhm.
down and coming out with 2 feet.
Yeah, man. I guess like kind of moving away from the standings thing, but this past weekend in Mandan, like, I gotta give a shout out to that event and the committee and the work those people do to make that. It's literally like in a mini NFR. Like the quality of
Mhm.
competitors, they upped the amount of horsepower they have in the bucking horse side of things. It was such a great rodeo. And like speaking of team roping, like going back and watching some of the videos I was shooting, like man, those top headers, man, they are throwing all of their rope. I never really clicked that much until I've like got to watch some of those back in slow motion. And it is like, unbelievable, and like some great ropers. Like that was the first time I got to see Nicky Northcott with my own eyes. Like that
Mm,
guy is a healer, dude.
yeah,
Yeah, he's
yeah,
all there. So
oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
do you know who like is really impressed me is Team McLeod over the last couple of years. I know they had a big check out of Mandan last year, and this year they had another solid run there. But that guy, he's a header too, man. Like it's fun watching kind of that next and Cavis and Denham too. Like those guys, they're going to be in striking distance to an NFR like as soon as they decide they really want to go. But yeah, the high level, I always associate team roping to like curling. When it's done at a really high level, it's fun to watch. But otherwise, it's kind of like if you're like at a random bonspiel in the middle of Saskatchewan, maybe not as much fun. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
it's
just there to get drunk. That's what you're there for.
yeah, exactly,
Like, yeah,
exactly.
I have been that curler. Trust me.
Yeah.
You're at that point where it's like, well, that end went away on us. Let's get another
Well,
down.
may still have a couple beers. Yeah, but I guess like summarizing that the Mandan thing, it's just like it's got me so fired up for the CFR, for the NFR. Like we're just got so much great rodeo, and you just seeing what happens when you bring the best of the best together. Like it just elevates everything and everyone. I mean, aside from the barrel racing in Mandan, there's a whole bunch of drama around that, but that's rodeo at the end of the day. But man, the saddle bronc riding was great. The bareback riding was good, and I mean, you run in a set of Chad Berger bucking bulls with some of the top guys in the world. Like you've seen what Kai Hamilton does. Like it's just it. We're so I think we're so lucky with the quality of athletes and four-legged athletes on both sides of the border right now.
No doubt. And yeah, like you mentioned, it's been just like we had Armstrong, and
Hmm.
then we've got Puyallup, and then we've got this Rough
Oh,
Rider Cup.
Pendleton, yeah,
And
Rough Rider Cup,
and
and like, oh man, it's
yeah,
so
it
great.
just it's really just kind of piled on the drama and the amount of money. I saw a clip from Dale Brisby with Luke Branchino, and Luke Branchino was talking about how, I mean, in this last month, if a guy really run the table, you could leave with 60 or 70,000 just in a month
Hmm.
at
Hmm.
the end of the season, and
It's
that's just
crazy,
it's
man.
it's hard to comprehend. I mean, the thing was last year the Rough Rider Cup, that one snuck up on a lot of people. because it wasn't really getting a lot of publicity. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, entries for this rodeo, and holy cow, look at how much money this thing has. So whereas this year,
Chad Berger said in an interview on Sunday that he wants to have that rodeo with 1 million added like sooner than later. Like he's not
oh,
messing
and they'll
around down
get
there.
there, yeah.
It's crazy.
So no, and so I mean those, like you say, those best on best events at the end of the year that just escalate the
Oh,
races are
opposite,
just
man.
great for the sport.
Oh, it's awesome. Really awesome. So it's gonna be fun. Yeah, I can't wait to see how the next week plays out. And obviously we're in for a great week of rodeo next week up in Edmonton, and I can't wait. I know you can't either, Clay. It's gonna be fun. I just thought of this before we sign off here. Shout out to Shelby Beaujolais too. She's having a great year in the Breakaway Open, primed to
Yeah.
win another Canadian or another world title. So she had no luck in Mandan, but I'm sure we'll see her back in the winner's circle soon. I just wanted to give her a special shout out because she's one of our reps down there kicking ass and taking names. So
Well, and on top of that, I did, because when I was going through things, so she's at the top of the leaderboard in the Breakaway Open, but we also got Jenna Dallin right now who's
yes,
fighting it.
yes, good call. Yeah,
She's
yeah.
sitting 15th. She's just $1,000 ahead of 16th. So it's a huge weekend for her. I mean, last year she went out and won the the NFR Open,
Mm-hmm,
the most weirdly named event that I've ever heard, because it's neither the
yeah, they need
NFR
to.
nor is it open to the
They're
public.
gonna bring that
But
one back in the
they
workshop.
yeah, they kind of, I think they've kind of just sailed that ship, but that's another day.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, she knows what to do. She's going to the CFR again here, and she's she's got what she can. I'm sure she's entered up here as many spots as she can be to ensure she makes that NFR Breakaway Open. Uh, Also, want to make sure we don't forget that we mentioned Kyle Lucas when we were talking about the CFR. This is a that
oh
tie
yeah,
down
Kyle.
rope and down
Wow.
there is
Yeah,
a
what the heck?
race.
Yeah, I totally
Yeah,
forgot. Good call.
is
Sorry, man. Yeah, I forgot about
yeah,
that.
no,
He's in a dog
you
fight,
know,
man.
he is, and like we had talked about it there before, and he went out and won the first round in Pendleton, and it was like, oh man, that's gonna be great. That's gonna solve this and everything. And after the weekend, he was still in the same spot, and it had just
Yeah.
sucked up even tighter. Like that race just got even wickeder
Yeah.
after Pendleton weekend, and I mean after the Rough Rider Cup, he was sitting 16th, and then he got a check in, I think it was Tyler, Texas. So right now he is in 15th by
Mhm.
like a couple hundred
Yeah,
dollars.
it's,
That
I'm
is,
looking at it right now and it's like $500, maybe 400 and some dollars,
yeah,
maybe up on
yeah.
Shane.
And broke a barrier there in Mandan, made a good run, but got out just that little bit early. You could tell that one, depending on how this season ends up, if
That could be a
that one could
heartbreaker.
be for a while. But no, definitely hoping that this weekend he figures out that way. It's just, yeah, all of those guys that are in the bottom of that race have been picking away real big time lately, and it's yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna be fun,
it'll
man.
be, yeah, he's not gonna just get it given to him, that's for sure.
No, gotta earn it, and I think that's the beauty of rodeo and the beauty of it all. It's all earned, not given, for lack of a better cliche.
One more
One
note
more
I
thing.
was
Okay.
just gonna make. Uh, Last week, I believe it was, we had our long time rodeo judge, former saddle bronc rider Lester Gurnett, that passed away.
Yes, good call. Good call.
He was he judged a lot of rodeos back when I was going. I could say that he didn't give me the points I deserved, but he probably had a better idea of what I was doing than I was. So really always appreciated Lester. A great guy to talk to. Just a really, really wonderful person that was a big part of the sport of rodeo for a long time. I mean, just, yeah, one of those guys that, whether you were a rookie or an older guy, I mean, he might give you that little bit of crust because he had that, but then he'd kind of give you that smirk, and I mean, he'd definitely make you feel like he was trying to be in your corner, and so condolences to family and
Yeah.
anybody that knew Lester there.
Yeah, definitely. We're thinking about them, and yeah, never an easy time, but yeah, our thoughts thoughts and everything are with the family. All right, Clay. Yeah, like I said, I think that'll do it for this week, and yeah, we'll touch base before we step foot into Old Rogers Place next week at CFR 51, and we'll see how the dust has settled south of the border.
Yeah, sounds good. Hopefully, I was trying to look at the Oilers schedule to see if they're going to give the grounds crew a couple more
They
hours.
play on Sunday,
Okay.
so we got some more time.
Yeah.
But I think there's a concert the night before, so
Yeah. Put the dirt down and then put stuff on
yeah,
top of
there you
it.
go, there you go.
At least give them that, because gosh, I give those guys so much credit for getting that all put together.
Yeah, shout out to Tanner Gurlitz and his crew, man. They bust their ass to make things happen and make it look cool in there. So it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it, man. But yeah, we'll catch up next week and we'll preview the rest of CFR 51.
Sounds good. See you
Right
then.
on. Right on. This has been episode 43 of the short round. We'll catch you all next week.